Hey, everybody. It's time for Opposite Saxes. How come I always start the show off?
You don't.
Sometimes you do?
Sometimes I do.
Oh.
Absolutely. We take turns.
Always,
Your turn.
as soon as I hit the button, I always think, are you going to start or am I going to start? And I generally jump in.
Oh, yes. But you always jump in
Yeah.
before I can.
But first we sit down and we decide what are we going to talk about and then when, and then we do the countdown to start the show. So that's basically where we're at, right?
I let you take over. You're the driver.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, right.
You're the driver.
Yeah, from the back seat most of the time. But we're glad to have you with us. We are brought to you today by our dear friend Irving Chung, who is a franchise consultant. Yeah. And Irving is super at what he does because he spends his life just researching what franchises are out there. And we're talking about everything from the Chick-fil-A's and the McDonald's right down to the brand new up and coming, which is, if you're ever thought about franchising, probably you're best off getting in on the ground floor. And the best way to do it is to contact Irving. His email address is on the screen. His phone number is on the screen. Go to his website, learn a little bit more about him, and sign up for a free consultation. And just say, hey, tell me about some of the new up and coming franchises and what it costs to get involved. He'll be more than happy to share the information with you. And hey, make sure you mention you heard about it on Opposite Saxes, because that's us. Yeah. We're here every Thursday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's especially interesting about that water franchise, about the car wash.
Oh, the waterless car wash.
Yeah, the waterless car wash.
Yeah, which I think is just really cool because if you live anywhere near a office building, you just go in there and drop a flyer off at every office in the office building and say, drop your car off when you come to work, and when you go home, it's going to be brand spanking clean. And from your aspect, there's no water.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a very, very interesting
very novel
system.
idea.
Get in touch with Irving. He'll tell you more about it because it's really a cool idea, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to get the franchise going. So you could be the first one in your area. You could retire as a millionaire in a couple of years. Maybe we should call Irving when the show's over. Yeah. But speaking of Irving and maybe thinking about getting a franchise and being your own boss and all. Help wanted. Have you ever seen so many help wanted signs out?
No, I haven't. And businesses are closing early or they're not doing service in the restaurant, but only doing takeout or drive-through because they don't have the employees.
But it's interesting. That's what they did when COVID really got going. A lot of restaurants were forced to close their doors. So some of them said, okay, I'm just going to go on vacation. And others said, no, I'm going to continue to cook, but you call in your order and we'll either deliver it to you or curbside delivery.
Right.
They kept going. Then all of a sudden things kind of lifted, especially the beginning of this summer. And a lot of the restaurants started opening up their restaurants with distancing. And if they had outdoor seating, that opened up. But while the restaurants were opening up and serving, apparently all those people that lost their jobs during COVID went and got a job elsewhere and they didn't come back. And now almost every other restaurant that you go into to pick up your food, there's a help wanted sign.
Yeah, there is. We were at a restaurant yesterday that shall remain nameless, but it was a large restaurant. It wasn't like a Burger King or Chick-fil-A.
Independently owned and operated restaurant.
And we had to go in and we ordered, which was fine.
You order your food
and then they bring it out to you.
There was one waitress in the restaurant.
And that's, I still think people are iffy about going out and being in a lot of crowds. The money situation, people are watching their pennies. So really wasn't busy at this restaurant. And I can understand how they had cut back. And this is their way of cutting back, but still servicing and staying operational.
Yeah. And there were I would say there were a fair number of tables that were taken. But what they did was you went up and you took a menu and you placed your order at the front, you paid
Right.
for it. And then that one waitress, instead of waiting on all those tables, she was like a runner. She was just
Right.
bringing your food out to you. You got a little placard,
Right.
with a number on
Or
it.
she
put
was
on it, too.
cleaning tables.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yes,
it was
then
different,
they lower their overhead by
very much so.
doing that.
In the beginning, though, people were getting benefits, unemployment benefits.
Yeah.
And I think that their thought was, well, if I'm getting unemployment benefits, I don't have to get up and go to work. I might as well
Yeah.
just stay home and collect it. That's no more. So I know that the smaller restaurants, any restaurant, I should say, is having to pay more per hour. And a lot of them just can't afford it. So they
Well,
are closing the inside and just doing drive-through.
or what they're going to do is, instead of having 4 waiters or waitresses on staff to service everybody at a higher, per hour rate,
Mhm.
they have 2 people.
Yes.
So they have half as
Right.
many people, which means they're probably going to have to work a little bit harder, but fewer people means that they can get more tips. The thing that really got me was some of those drive-through restaurants that we're talking about.
Mhm.
We encountered one several weeks back.
Mhm.
They're open from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. because
Right.
they don't have enough help to keep them open in the evening. Well, stop and think. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a nationally known restaurant. You just eliminated the ability for people to pick up food on their way to work in the morning. And if they want to place an order for pickup and pick it up on the way home from work, when they get off at 5 and the restaurant closes at 5 or 5:30, they can't even get the food.
Yeah, it's too bad that we can't do what some of the European countries do, and that is open in the morning and then be there for lunch and then close
In the
for a
afternoon.
few hours.
Like siesta time.
Right. And then come back and then you're there for the dinner hour and then you close again. But for the United States, I don't know how feasible that is. I do know that I think it's more than time that we upped our hourly wage. I said this
agree.
when we were
I
in
agree.
business, and that was 8-9 years ago.
Yeah, a
Um,
fair working wage. And those people that have been getting unemployment, the unemployment was at or better
Yes.
than what their wages were.
Right.
And especially when we're talking about restaurants in particular. Restaurants generally have a minimum wage and maybe even below minimum wage program, because they take the minimum wage plus what you can be making per hour on tips.
Mhm.
And that's how they
average it out.
judge it. So if it's a good restaurant with lots of people, a waiter or waitress can make good money.
But what is it? The minimum wage, like $8 an hour?
I don't know what it is now.
Whatever it is,
No.
it was between 7 and 9. And it's not enough. Everything else is going up. Prices are going up across the board. Food, you name it, clothing, whatever. It's all going up. But the wages are staying the same, and it's just not possible. And I think at this point, it's only fair.
Well, and it's going to get competitive, because if all the stores have help wanted, then the store that's going to get the help is going to be the one that's going to offer the most opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it doesn't necessarily mean right off the bat you're going to get $15 an hour or whatever. It could be that it's $13 an hour plus commissions on
Yeah,
all sales.
that's-
So it's a matter of doing a little bit of math, because if it means getting $1 or so less per hour, but you have got the opportunity to make an extra $5 or $6 an hour in commissions.
Well,
So the stores are going to be competing against each other for that pool.
that's
of people.
fine for sales or for waitresses,
Mhm,
but for a cashier or a hostess at a restaurant,
That's true.
they
But
don't have that opportunity.
But those are the places that are going to say, well, listen, if minimum wage is $15 an hour, and I have to have a cashier, So I'm going to give that to the cashier, but I'm going to have one or two less wait people, or I'm going to have one less person in the kitchen doing the dishes. And then that person who is in the kitchen doing the dishes and is overwhelmed says, I can't take this, I'm going to leave. And so now the help wanted sign goes out up on the window again. But we were at the mall, and I mean, it's like every store has got a help wanted.
They all do. And even when you're at the grocery store, you're at your big box stores, Target, Walmart, whatever. First of all, you couldn't find anybody before COVID to ask a question. And now there's absolutely no one around. In fact, some of them are changing their checkouts to all manual, all self-service.
Well, because they can have one person answering questions for 6 checkout places.
Yeah.
On self-check, rather than having 6 lanes open.
But in the meantime, I don't know how this is gonna go, because for an older person, or even a young mom with the kids in the cart, and you're bagging your own, and you're swiping your own, and you're carrying your own, nobody's helping you at all put things in the cart. I'm sorry.
Well, and
there's a point.
The other option is that more and more places are allowing you to call, place an order.
Yeah.
You pull up at the curb, and even the grocery stores, place an order, you pull up, you place a call, and that one person comes out and puts your groceries in your car, true. And off you go.
If you can get what you've asked for. If you ask for a certain item and they don't have it, either they pull it and they substitute it, or you tell them not to and they don't. Whereas if you were at the store and you could do it yourself, you can look and see what other options there are yourself and choose, well, do I want to come back another day when maybe they're stocked? But they're not even stocked. Some of the shelves on some of these stores.
Why?
Unbelievable.
They can't get the help.
I don't know if it's the hell. Is it the drivers that they can't get?
But
to drive the product to the stores?
But even to get stock people to come in and put the goods. I mean, you can go to the grocery stores almost any day and walk up and down any aisle, and there's a pallet with goods waiting to be put onto the shelves.
I don't see that. I don't see that.
You don't see that?
No, here in Texas, and it's not all over because I've checked with other people in other states, but here in Texas, there is no pallet. There is nothing in the aisle. There's nothing on the shelves. There are a bag of chips you can't necessarily get. Shampoo you can't necessarily get. I don't know why they keep saying, well, we're not having a delivery. We don't know when we're getting a delivery anymore. We used to have it on certain days, but now it's catch as catch can, and we don't know how much we're going to get.
Well, and especially, and I think
very
we've said this before, is a lot of people shop the stores and buy the store brand. Now, just to throw out Kroger. Kroger has their own Kroger brand of almost anything. If you want Rice Krispies, you can also get the Kroger crispy rice. You can't find the store brands anymore because, number one, Kroger does not make soups, and they don't make cereals, and they don't make all that stuff. They, contract for a major company to make it under their label. Well, those companies now are saying, hey, we got enough to keep us busy because we can't get enough help. Just producing it under our label, so you can continue to buy our label to sell in your store. And you're finding that a lot of the house brand goods are not available.
I'm finding it across the board.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as a person that needs to have only gluten-free products, a lot of it is name brands. And those brands aren't on the shelves anymore.
Or
and they don't know when they're getting them.
Going through the roof.
So is it because they don't have the people to deliver, the people to box them, the people at the factories? Because again, they're not paying the wages, or for whatever reason, they don't have the people. The people they're not getting benefits like they used to anymore. Those checks from the government aren't just automatically coming in.
The answer is,
I don't know.
All of the above.
Yeah, I suppose.
All of the above.
It's just frustrating.
Because it's the local stores help wanted.
Yeah.
The chain stores, help
Help
wanted.
It is. Yeah.
The distributors. I mean, I don't know necessarily how it is around the rest of the company, but even
Country.
here in Texas, Amazon is trying to get enough help. They don't have enough help to fill all the orders that they're doing. The Walmart stores, major chain of stores,
Yeah.
help wanted in almost any location. And those are stores that are open 24 hours and they need people all the time.
Yeah. I just,
You know,
I don't get it. If someone wants to write us and tell us why we have no help in any of our stores, please. And I can't seem to find it in the news. I'm
well, I'll tell you what, what you do see a little on TV now is the commercials for Indeed. Isn't it Indeed is
Yeah.
one of the
job service.
searches. I'm trying to think of ZipRecruiter, another one.
ZipRecruiter is
I mean,
another one.
I have some of our shows are listed on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just probably doubled or tripled in size because LinkedIn is pretty much of a business to business kind of operation, and people trying to find each other and get their foot in the door. So they're virtually trying to make the connection first.
Well, I do know someone did tell me that a lot of people are leaving those minimum wage jobs and they're going to any job that they can where they're making much more than minimum wage. And that's a real possibility because where you see the signs are minimum wage jobs. So that's that I can understand. But again, like I say, I think that they're going to have to up their hourly wages.
And I think
what are
they
they gonna
will
do?
because it'll either be mandated federally or state by state. And, you know, there are certain companies we know in some of the fast food industries, some of those fast food places, franchises, we were talking earlier about Irving. Some of those franchises have already said, okay, we're going to minimum wage is $15 an hour. Well, now all of a sudden they're starting to hire people. And what is that going to do to the other fast food franchises and all who haven't caught up? So people are going to leave there to go. Yeah,
they're going to have to.
They're going to follow the money. They always want to follow the money.
Yeah, and so they're going to have to up their hourly wages or something. Do something to bring the people in to make more money so that they can pay more money out.
Yeah,
to the workers.
Lauren just sent a note to me that if I don't up her salary, she may walk. Now, how am I going to carry on a show called Opposite Saxes if one of the Saxes is gone because she wasn't getting paid a fair wage?
I would never leave you.
Oh, but she has benefits.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
and having said that, I guess that's a wrap for another show of Opposite Saxes. Hope you'll be right here again next week to see what we're talking about, because we'll be here and hope you will be too.
See you next week.
Bye.